Yes, indeed, Charles Dickens. Yes, indeed. Oh, YouTube. Imagine seeing you here on this site. I was actually just reading a book. One of my many. But, got something more important to talk about actually today. And that is, that's a little thing called sex. No. That's not right. I'm here to talk about something called Pokéchecks versus player. Now, Pokécheck is a website that allows you to see certain qualities that you might not be able to easily ascertain otherwise through normal gameplay about your Pokemon by uploading them to the GTS, or rather, storing them in the GTS, the Global Trade Station. You can find their IVs, their ID, their SID, you can already find their ID, but their SID, and various other things that are normally hidden. Their seed, if you're into RNG, if you're into that kinky stuff. But Pokécheck released a new feature called Pokéchecks versus player. Now it differs considerably from the versus player you might be used to in your Pokemon game, assuming you have one. I don't want to assume anything. But this one differs in that it is actually a log generator for the battles that you have by uploading them to the battle depot in your game over the global link. You can actually find out, or you can generate a log, a text-based schematic of your battle by looking it up on the site. Now, you might be saying, okay, that's cool. Log generator. I already have one of those. I'm talking about your poop chute. But, no. It does more than that. If it was just that, it wouldn't be that remarkable, and I wouldn't feel the need to talk about it today. But I do, because it actually tells you much more. Prefacing every single one of these logs that you can generate is actually a breakdown of every single Pokemon used in that battle. And this breakdown is fairly extensive. It shows the moveset of each Pokemon used in the battle, both yours and your opponent's, or two strangers if you're looking at somebody else's battle video. It shows their stats in all their entirety, nature, ability, IVs, EVs, seed, held items, even the Pokeball they're held in. So it really gives you every single thing you would want to know about a given person's team that they've used in this battle. Now this is a double-edged sword, and this is where it gets serious, okay? This is really cool. It's cool. It's beyond cool. Because, I'm getting really casual here. It's beyond cool because now we can see if the opponent that we face on random matchup, and I'm going to be talking a lot about random matchup, if the opponent we face on random matchup is really as serious about the game as we are. Because if they have good IV spreads, they have good EV spreads, then you can actually figure out pretty much if they are serious about the game or not, generally. Also, you can figure out what your opponent was trying to do with the whole battle, what their whole game plan was by kind of like looking at their moves and saying, well, what could this be used for? Why do they have this held item? And they might be using some really creative things. You might pick up something cool. You might actually be able to gain your opponent's perspective a bit more. But the thing is, that's not where it ends. Because like I said earlier, you can use this device to look at two trainers that you haven't faced before. And just by getting their battle number, you can actually look at their Pokemon team. And this is where this whole feature becomes a double-edged sword and such a moral qualm for me, this moral quarry that I don't really know how to approach. Because while it is very cool, like I said, you also can look at other people's teams without actually facing them, then face them later in battle by, talking to them, saying, hey, do you want to battle? You know how it goes. But you actually know their team in its entirety, and it kind of leaves this barrier of distrust, in my opinion, because your opponent might absolutely cream you after looking at their team, because they know everything that you do. And that could lead to some issues. Like, is it really a legitimate victory? Because they already know exactly what you're going to do. And I know that personally I would not like my opponent to know exactly what I'm planning on doing when I battle them. I like to have a little bit of secrecy so I can surprise them. But the surprise is kind of gone because of this. And it affects mostly players of the game who do not hack their Pokemon. People like me, take my glasses off because it's getting hot and heavy in here. Players like me, who IV breed mostly, sometimes RNG, rarely. It takes us, people like me, a lot longer to make teams. And as such, we don't really get to have this whole variety with our teams that people who hack have. So, and we're not able to create new teams as often. So, as such, it sort of leaves us in this place where our opponents can easily read what we're going to do because of this new feature. Like, it's completely unprecedented. Like, no way was there a way to accurately know every single statistic about your opponent before you actually face them or before you ask them. You can't even normally learn everything about your opponent's team just by facing them once. And a lot of what Pokemon is about is discerning your opponent's strategy in the midst of battle. And if you take that away, Pokemon isn't really as great of a game, in my opinion. It really falls flat. So, I've talked a lot about the negative. I've talked some about the positive. In general, I really appreciate this feature. I think it is fantastic because I'll be able to learn more about my opponent's teams, which is always great. But I'm going to use it post-Bellum, after the battle, rather than before. And I'm going to try not to break that rule because I think it's important to keep the trust in between competitors. And yeah, so I want to keep this technique sacred. But overall, it's very cool. So if you subscribe to my philosophies that I've expressed in this video, feel free to tell me, comment section below. If you don't subscribe, tell me that if you don't subscribe to my philosophy, tell me that in the comment section as well. If you like this video, then I'm glad. I'm going to be leaving in the description box a link to Pokécheck and a link to Pokécheck's versus player. So please, please, please check it out. Kind of get a feel for it, okay? I think that's really important. So yeah, leave a comment below. Alright, that one isn't really actually subliminal messaging because I literally want you to leave a comment, but alright, I'm pretty much done here. The fire's pretty much done here too. You've probably been actually watching that instead of me the entire time. I'm okay with that. Fire's pretty cool. So I'm going to throw up a peace sign. Peace sign. Peace sign. Peace. Have a great time living, people, because you only live once. And I'm not going to say it. That's 4 different words, not one. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I can bring you more live videos in the future. It feels good to do this for a change. Maybe I'll be using something better than a flip video camera. Maybe not. So see you guys later. How do I turn this damn thing off?